Well, here we are. So, why am I doing this? Well, something clicked. I've been thinking about this topic ever since I went on a rant about it during a certain live stream that I did not too long ago at the time of this video's recording and upload. It was during my Knuckles run of Sonic Mania. And thanks to my internet being a piece of garbage during the first part of the stream, it was like the first half hour, I had to make a second stream, so I did all that. I just instantly got a second stream up and running, and then I was able to finish the rest of the game. But during that session, I kind of went on a rant about Sonic Forces for, what was it, half an hour? This is unscripted, just so everyone knows. A topic like this is something that I can't really form into words. This is just, gotta go with the flow, gotta just kinda get all my thoughts out there. Okay. So, what's the topic about? For those of you who haven't watched the live stream, if you look at the title, it seems pretty straightforward in my opinion on what Sonic is. Well, there's a bit more to it than that. So, let's take it from the top. I have been a Sonic fan for a long time. Ever since I was very young, playing Sonic 2 on the Genesis, I have loved this series for a long time. I'm still a fan to this day. So, I start off playing Sonic 2 on the Genesis. Then, I hadn't really played anything else other than that until I eventually got the Sonic Mega Collection Plus. That was on PlayStation 2. This was a compilation of all of the Genesis games in the Sonic series, all the games that were released on the Genesis, plus most of the Game Gear games and a few unlockable side games like Flicky and, for some reason, Blue Sphere and Sonic 3 and Knuckles, as well as Knuckles and Sonic 2 were all separate unlockable games. Never really got the reasoning behind those, like, lock-on features being held back, but it was here where I finally played the rest of the classic era. Pretty much all of it was there, minus a few games like CD, which, yeah, was important, but at that point I didn't have Gems Collection, and the Christian Whitehead 2011 re-release wasn't, like, out at all. Nobody even knew it existed. So, it was during this time where, again, I played the rest of the classic series, and I was thinking, I love this series. I love Sonic 2 as a game. I always played that game. That game was fantastic. But I didn't really know. Again, I was very young. But I didn't really know that I loved the series so much. Because I hadn't really played anything else. I was just stuck with Sonic 2. But finally, all these games, pretty much all of the classic series minus Again, games like CD and Sonic R, and maybe like, yeah, Tails Adventure wasn't there, and like Tails Sky Patrol, stuff like that wasn't there, and Knuckles Chaotix. But most of what is needed for the classic series is there. And I remember thinking, this series is incredible. It's so fun and unique. There's really nothing else like it. You have, like, just taking a look at level themes, for example. You don't just have a grassy plain, you have a sprawling tropical paradise with tribal bridges and totems and sparkling water and mountainous ranges in the background with all these loop-de-loops and spikes and breakable walls and caves. It's not really a traditional level 1. It's like taking a grassy theme from a Mario game and completely just distorting and changing it into something that doesn't even resemble even closely what it could have been originally based off of. Going to games like Sonic 2, levels got even more creative. We went from like tropical paradises and like industrial night skies to just like a purple, green, mossy cave-filled area that possibly resembles like a mine in some way, with like carts and such and pulleys and like ramps and such. And then we have like oil factories, and we have chemical plants, and all of this just completely. As a person that appreciates design and like anything really creative in terms of art, I look at the Sonic series, and that's really what inspires me. Because for those of you who don't know, I like to draw things, and mainly what I draw is Sonic stuff. And the real reason for that is because I just find it so incredible. It's so unique, and again, there's nothing really like it. We move on to Sonic 3, and it's like another tropical paradise, but it's like, it almost seems completely different. You start off in the coast, but then move into like a more forest type area, and then the entire thing is set ablaze, so you have like this crazy energized like set piece that makes up an entire level, but it's still so like memorable and crazy that you never really forget it if you're a Sonic fan. And then you have like carnivals and stuff becoming a staple, but Spring Yard is different to Carnival Night. Spring Yard is different to Casino Night, which is different to Carnival Night. And even though I just slipped up on Carnival Night and Casino Night, there's still very unique levels. Like, you can just instantly look at a screenshot of Sonic 2's Casino Night and instantly be able to tell the differences between Casino Night and Carnival Night just based off of the first frame of the level. It's that creative. It's that different. Even when you're reusing the same themes, they're almost completely separate from each other into being something. Again, it's like you're taking a distorted image of something that's just so insane to then distorting that and even making it something different. If that makes any sense. Then we move on and have games like Sonic and Knuckles, which at the time, yes, I played Sonic 3 and Sonic and Knuckles separately. I know that's a sin against humanity, but that's what I had. I didn't actually know how to unlock Sonic 3 and Knuckles at the time. You have to play Sonic 3 20 times and play Sonic and Knuckles 20 times. Not even like play through them all, just reload them. Click on them, load the game up, and then reset. But I didn't have the game at the time, so I was forced to play Sonic 3 and Sonic and Knuckles separately. And then I go into Sonic and Knuckles, and it's like, oh, a different, like, grass world. This one's filled with mushrooms and, like, spores run along the ground as you're, like, running. Everything seems to be covered in, like, some sort of grass or, like, all, like, this crazy jungle scenery that's even different from Angel Island, and then it moves on to having seasonal changes just mid-level, like, just happens. And you're expected to just roll with it, and you do, because it's like, wow, look at this, it's crazy, this is fun, this is, for lack of a better term, just cool. And that's what Sonic was to me when I was playing the classic series. It was cool. I know the whole marketing gimmick behind Sonic is that he was supposed to be this cool, radical, mondo guy from, like, the early 90s that was too cool for school, man, but even through just the games, when you weren't able to really show that much, it was pretty much limited to pantomime. And you had to tell stories without really any cutscenes. It had to be like the transitional cutscenes in Sonic 3 and Sonic and Knuckles, for example. You're able to tell a story between levels just by moving, like, character sprites around. And you don't have voice acting or anything, characters don't talk, so you gotta be a bit more creative with what you do with the story. And Sonic 1 and Sonic 2, for instance, didn't even have a story, really. It was Robotnik's being evil again, kidnapping woodland creatures, go stop him, and Sonic 2 is like, Dr. Robotnik is evil and kidnapping woodland creatures, stop him, also Tails is here. But that's not what's necessary to make something great, in terms of a Sonic game at least. And even Mario games, there are plenty of video games that don't have complex stories that are just fantastic, but Sonic is just unique in that sense where the character, like, just everyone points to this when they go to say how Sega portrayed Sonic's character in-game. Leave the controller down, after a few seconds Sonic will look at the camera, start tapping his foot. Seems so little now, but that is just, it was ingenious. Because you can't do much with the game, but you still find a way to portray Sonic's character. He's a cocky little, like, he's a sort of, what do you say, kind of mischievous character, like something like Bugs Bunny, but a lot more, I don't know, at the terms you could say hip and mondo cool, yo, but even then, I still found the character so, again, lack of a better term, I hate to repeat myself in terms of the words that I'm using, but he was just cool. He was just cool, and that's kind of why I was attached to Sonic more than other game franchises that I played at the time, because it's like, it's just so different, it's, again, fresh, it's cool, it's, again, unique. And then when I moved on to playing the 3D games, because you see, my first 3D Sonic game was Sonic Heroes, and even then, I play Sonic Heroes, and it's so, just so Sonic, even though I could tell it was radically different, just completely different. You got, like, the whole 3D camera angle, and you're controlling 3 characters at once, and there's like 12 different playable characters, 4 stories. Oh my god, this is crazy. There's so much to this game in comparison to the Genesis games. I never found myself being lost, I guess you could say, in any way. I just felt right at home, as if I was playing just another classic Sonic game, only now it's 3D. I know that in the classic games you weren't controlling 3 characters at once, but it's just something different. It's something, again, unique. It's cool, going back to that. Just something, you wouldn't see a Mario game where you can control, like, 3 characters at once. Where you're controlling, like, in a main series platforming Mario game, I should say. You're not controlling, like, 3 characters at once. In Mario Sunshine, you weren't controlling, like, Luigi and Toad at the exact same time, each with their own unique movesets and, like, level sections to, like, go through that you need to switch between them. You wouldn't see that in like a Mario game or your Crash Bandicoots or your Spyro the Dragons. You could only find that with stuff like Sonic, because Sonic was willing to take those risks and be more unique. I know other franchises like Mario, even around the same time, were doing stuff like Luigi's Mansion and even Mario Sunshine with the whole flood mechanic, were very different. They were. And I'm not going to ignore that. They were very different, kind of unique games, but Sonic just seemed to take it to a whole new level. It's like, you go from each Sonic game just wondering, where's Sonic gonna go next? What crazy new zones am I gonna go? Go to Sonic Heroes. Wow, a haunted mansion. But it's not just a haunted mansion. It's a haunted mansion that flips upside down, and we got like traps and stuff when you press random switches that could do whatever you could think they could do. Of course, now we know that they just flip the castle upside down and sometimes spawn enemies, but at the time, during my first playthrough, it's like, what does this switch do? There's like some sort of childlike wonder and mystery to like what happens in the next Sonic game, if you could understand. Like, it's just that type of wonderment where it's like, wow, that was so cool, that was so different, unique, it was so... You understand, it's just sort of... It's Sonic. It's Sonic. And then I go on to playing games like, what was my next 3D Sonic game? Oh yes, Unleashed. Yeah, I went from Sonic Heroes to playing Unleashed. Think that's much of a jump? Think that's a radical shift in gameplay, story, character? No. No, it wasn't. It wasn't to me. Again, I was very young at this time. If I went from Sonic Heroes to Sonic Unleashed, I would clearly notice a difference, but even though there's a difference in gameplay, and story, and even voice acting, and all sorts of stuff, it still felt like Sonic. It still felt like I was playing another Sonic game. It didn't feel like I was playing a completely radically different character in a different world. Even though I went from the classic games to Heroes, which sort of had the cartoony, like, I guess you could say now with the whole Sonic world and human world being separate things, I could say it was in the Sonic world with all the fantastical green hills and crazy loops and all that sort of jazz. And then we go to Unleashed and there's more like human, more urban type places, like an area based off of Africa or Greece or, where is Adabat based off of? Just sort of generic tropical island? Hawaii? Nonetheless, Sonic Unleashed was, again, unique. Like, you look at Sonic Unleashed and on paper, it doesn't seem like anything that special. Oh, Sonic is traveling through levels that are based off of real-life locations, and Sonic goes through Greece for the first level, and then he goes through Africa, then he goes through, like, Europe land, basically, then he goes through, like, China, and then he goes through, like, New York. It's like, yeah, that's cool, I guess. We already had previous Sonic games like Adventure and Adventure 2, which tried the more realistic thing, but that doesn't really sound all that interesting. But the game still finds a way to make it unique and crazy and fun. You're not gonna see a game where Sonic starts, like, after he just jumps off of a building, lands in Empire City. I'm saying this. Again, this isn't scripted. I'm trying to keep things as professional as much as I can with this type of video as I can. But in Empire City, you go from off of a ramp, and then you perform a trick, go down, fall like at least 100 feet, straight down into a bridge, still moving at high speeds while you're getting chased by a robot, and then you turn the corner after avoiding its attacks, and then you're chased by like a team of 3 robots shooting lasers at you while you're like dashing through, like crashing into robots, knocking them into the other ones, causing them to explode, gain some experience points, hop over lasers, dodge like bursts of fire that they drop in the road, while again avoiding their lasers, and then you jump off of springs, then you're on a rail segment between buildings, then you go up a building, turn like directly to the right. Now you're dodging bombs on the side of a building on scaffolding. Do it 3 times, with each time getting progressively faster. Then you hit a spring, go through a rail that goes into like a corkscrew motion, and then you go like straight up a building, go down more rails, hop through loops, and then fall all the way down straight to another building, where after you defeat some enemies around the statue spinning type thing, the goal ring appears, and that's the end of a level. All of that happening within 1.5 to 2 minutes. You don't find that in any other game franchise. That is a Sonic exclusive charm, I guess you could say. It's Sonic charm. You wouldn't see, for example, I know this is more of a recent game, but you wouldn't see Mario Odyssey doing something like crazily insane like that. Say for New Donk City, which is kind of similar to Empire City in the way that they're both based off of New York. But you have New Donk City in Super Mario Odyssey. But you look at it, it's like, you know, it's surreal seeing Mario with, like, these realistic type of people. Like, Mario's not even human anymore, I'm pretty sure we can all agree on that. But it's not really anything crazy about it. It's a fantastic level, still a great level. But, you know, there's nothing really special about it. Like, I'm not sure, you have the whole, like, Pauline thing where you, like, go through a 2D section based off of the original Donkey Kong while you're listening to a lyrical track. It's like, yeah, it's cool, it's jazzy, it's nice, and I loved it. It's still fantastic, don't get me wrong, but it's nowhere at the level where Sonic Unleashed takes in a roller coaster ride of this craziness. That's like the extreme of going, like, as a super fast hedgehog, you feel like Sonic the Hedgehog. And again, I said that there wasn't much of a leap between Heroes and Unleashed, even though Unleashed seems like a crazy, radically different game than Heroes, as I said earlier. But it still had that crazy Sonic charm to me. I still felt that. It was like, in Sonic Heroes, I go to a forest level, and yeah, it's pretty cool. It's really cool. You're like thousands of feet up in the air, grinding on growing vines, and you have these frogs that grow rain, which causes you to bounce on fruit and grind on more like vines. Some of them are even growing as you're grinding on them, and then you have other frogs that like have poisonous rains that kill the fruits. So now there's a completely different obstacle to deal with in the level. It's like crazy. It's so like, how do these people come up with this, is what you're thinking in your head as you're playing these for the first time. And if I'm playing a Mario game, how does a forest level end? It ends like every other level. You got your flagpole, your star, your shine, your whatever, what have you. How does a forest level in Sonic Heroes ends? It ends with you getting chased by a giant alligator in a time-based sequence where you're hopping from vine to vine until you reach the goal ring and escape the thing. It's like, that's not in other games. That's true Sonic charm right there. And then that's like so unique, and each level was just so crazy and new and unique and fresh. Just fresh. All new and fresh. And then I believe the next Sonic game I played after that was Unleashed of Colors. Colors, yeah. Was this true? Yeah. Yeah, this is Sonic Colors. And then, as I'm playing Colors, this is a really fun game. Great game. I loved it. It seemed like any other Sonic game to me at the time. It seemed fun. It seemed unique. You might notice how I don't really seem as enthusiastic about it. It just seems like it's like Unleashed, but, you know, with the whole amusement park setting. It's like, that's really unique. It still has Sonic charm. And I mean, I have my own gripes about Sonic Colors, which kind of stops me from being as enthusiastic about the game as I used to be. I'm still just as, like, into Unleashed and Heroes as I was when I first played them. Well, maybe not to the same extent. I'm not like a super overly imaginative, like, little kid, but I'm like, it's still so fascinating. Colors is still really fun and, like, creative and unique. It's just not as unique as other Sonic games, which honestly in a series like this is bound to happen. So I'm allowed to let the slight, I don't want to say underwhelming, because Colors is still fantastic. It's a great game. But Not talking about like the voice acting or anything, because I like, you want to hear my opinions on the voice actors right now. Ryan Drummond's good, Jason is good. Honestly, Ryan, Jason, whichever one's better, I really don't care. I prefer, when I think of what Sonic sounds like, I think of Jason Griffith, but that just has to do probably more with me growing up hearing Jason Griffith, because I watched Sonic X almost religiously when that was still airing on 4Kids, and then it's like, yeah. So anytime I think of Sonic, I just hear 4Kids. I just hear Jason Griffith like, yeah, oh yeah, oh, even without wings, I can still fly. It's like, that's just what I hear. But everyone thinks of Ryan Drummond, everyone thinks of Jason. Some people hear Roger Craig Smith, which is Roger Craig Smith. I don't really like it. It's not my cup of tea. I don't really like Roger Craig Smith as a Sonic voice actor. I think he probably, yeah, it's a fine person. Seems like a nice guy, but I just don't. I'm not a fan of the Sonic. It doesn't really sound like the same character. I really don't think most Sonic characters are really what they used to be, but this isn't really a rant about Sonic as a character. This is more of a rant about the games themselves. Well, yeah, voice acting and story are part of the games, but more a level-based focus. Maybe I'll get into the voice acting later on, and story, characters, the sort. But then I play Sonic Colors, and it's still really fun. It's still Sonic. It still feels like Sonic. And then I go to, I think at this point, I played Shadow the Hedgehog. Yes, I played Shadow the Hedgehog after this. Sorry, just trying to remember in the order of which I played these games. So I go from all of the classic games, which, you know, you got the spin-offs like 3D Blast and Spinball in there. Which, I'm sorry, Spinball enthusiasts, I'm not a fan of Spinball. But yeah, you got these spin-off games, which are alright, but like, even then you have the meat of the series, the main games you come here for, and they're all fantastic, they're all great. Then you move on to the 3D games, which aren't as good as the classic games, but they still feel great, they still feel solid. And even with Unleashed and the Werehog, it's like, yeah, I wasn't really a fan of the Werehog when I was first playing the game, and I'm still not really a big fan of it. But like, I know this sounds sort of weird, but I'm kind of willing to ignore the Werehog. I know that sounds crazy considering the Werehog is like half of Unleashed. It's like, how do you only like 50% of the game and still love it? Like love it and put it on such a high pedestal. It's the point where people have gone out there saying they love the adventure games and love Adventure 2, which I like them as well, and I'll talk more about those in a little bit. But I love Unleashed to death. I love that game. Absolutely adore it. For me, the daytime stages are so good. Sure, they're not as refined in terms of control like Generations and the level design, and I kind of really don't care between Unleashed and Generations. Unleashed is more speedrunning, like, focus, more like quick reaction based thing, which I kind of prefer over Generations, although I would love like a fully open, like crazy expansive 3D Sonic game. That's still fantastic, but I just kind of prefer Unleashed. It's the only Sonic game where I really felt compelled to speedrun the game. Sure, they're like the classic games and stuff, I love to speedrun those, and I like to speedrun some other Sonic games occasionally, try to get like faster times, like Generations for instance, and I'll get more into that in a little bit. But I play Sonic Unleashed, and I just think it's like adrenaline pumping. It's like, so, yeah, this is Sonic, this is crazy fast, I'm gonna go as fast as possible. Even if I think I can't go faster, I will beat my time by just a millisecond, just a fraction of a second, by 0.1 second. 0.1 seconds. I will still beat my time because I can go faster because I am Sonic the Hedgehog. I will go above and beyond. And I know that sounds a bit crazy, maybe a tad silly of me, but you know, that's just how I feel. That I love Unleashed. It always, like, in terms of the game, it's like the game, every time I look at those result screens and I play through the level over and over again, restarting, air boosting over set pieces, trying to go as fast as possible, learning the game's physics so I can sort of abuse them in a sense without going, like, just completely resorting to glitches, just trying to go as fast as possible in any way necessary without completely breaking the game like some speedruns out there. I'm just entranced in the whole experience, and it's like that type of, it's the type of feeling where it's like, I can't stop until I beat this game into the ground and prove that I am better than it, because I can go faster than the last time I had. I don't think it's possible, but I know it's possible because I've done it before and I can do it. You know, that's just, again, how I feel about Unleashed. That's the type of feeling I get every time I boot up the game. It's always to see if I can just go a little bit faster than last time, a little bit faster, and that just sort of reminds me of Sonic. Sonic could be the #1 speedrunning video game series that compels you to go faster, 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 Sonic X, faster, faster. But I'm just, you know, that's what I get out of the classic games, and that's what I get out of Sonic Unleashed. I don't speedrun the classic games as much as I do Unleashed, even though I like the classic games more than Unleashed. But I still have that speedrunning tendency where I want to learn these levels. I want to play this game hundreds of times so I can learn the level layout and just break it completely and just go as fast as possible. Well, not breaking the game, but you get what I mean. Just speedrunning it as fast as possible this time. And sure, you could say it could be like that for any game. It could be like that for Mario, you know? Just learn the level, try to go as fast as possible. And yeah, you're right in that sense, but that's not really the whole picture. Mario doesn't want you to go fast. What I mean is, Mario isn't built in a way where you're meant to constantly try to go as fast as possible. Mario's built in a way where if you learn the levels, fantastic, you can go fast. It's like that with every other game. It's like learning a game and then try and beat it faster. You're just getting better at the game. But with Sonic, it encourages you to speedrun. It encourages you to try to go faster with stuff like the ranking system that can reward you based on how fast you complete levels. Then saying, like in Unleashed, every time you hit a checkpoint, it tells you how fast you're going, and it constantly has a speed bar at the bottom left-hand corner along with your boost to constantly remind you, hey, you're not going at top speed, you're slowing down, go faster. You can get that bar filled out, try to go as fast as possible almost the entire level. You can do this because you have the skill. Even if you don't have it now, you can play the level constantly and learn how to, like, just keep that boost meter filled up, constantly skip level pieces. It encourages you to do stuff like this, especially with checkpoints telling you you're running at like 2,000 miles an hour, something like that. And then when you're going faster in the game, sometimes that can change slightly. I'm sure it's like preset to like cap at a certain number, but even then, it constantly encourages you, hey, go faster, go faster, go faster. Like, break your limits, basically. There's no limit break. There's no possible way. You need to constantly get better at the game. I know that could kind of sound pretty obvious and maybe a little cheesy, but yeah, that's how I feel. The game is like constantly encouraging me to be better at it, and that's the Sonic charm that I get. And sure, I like Sonic Adventure, I like Sonic Adventure 2, and I still get that type of feeling from it. With Adventure 2, you got ranking, and when it comes to ranking in a Sonic game, there is nothing more satisfying to me than beating my fastest time and also getting like an A rank or an S rank. And even if like in games like SA2 where speedrunning doesn't necessarily mean you're gonna get the best rank, it still feels so satisfying to know I did better. I know the game inside and out, and I can't let it beat you at that point. It gets to the point where the only deaths you're going to be facing are when you try to pull off some crazy massive shortcut, or because you're losing so many lives because of how many times you're pressing the restart button because you're just a crazy perfectionist that needs to do everything in a solid, clean run like I do, because I'm kind of obsessed with the Sonic series. But in all seriousness, I still get that vibe from SA2, and even SA1 has the whole try to beat this level in X amount of minutes this time. And then you try first time and you're not really used to speedrunning if you're like me. When you first played Adventure, it's like you don't really speedrun on your first attempt of the game. You just try to go at a brisk pace. And then when you're suddenly meant to, or basically required to beat the level in under 2 minutes, like Emerald Coast, you think it'd be easy, oh, it's the first level, but when you're used to playing the level at like a brisk pace, maybe exploring a bit, collecting like rings, defeating enemies, and still trying to go semi-fast, and beating the level in around like maybe 3.5 to 4 minutes, suddenly being restricted to like 2 minutes gets you like thinking. It gets you thinking, what shortcuts can I take? How can I use the physics to my advantage to get more level pieces? How can I spin dash like down this ramp so I can go even faster? Stuff like that. It's like, it's that type of charm that I get from the series. Like, I don't want to say I'm only into Sonic for the speedrun like aspect of it, and I'm not really. I'm in it for the character, I'm in it for the world, I'm in it for the fast adrenaline pumping action, the craziness of the whole series. And that's what I feel. Even in the classic games, when you could say they weren't all like as radical as the modern games, but I still feel the same way about the classic games. I still feel like it's constantly telling me, go faster, because you know what there is in every single main series classic Sonic game? A time limit. Sure, that time limit is 10 minutes, and not many people, in fact, I'm not sure many people at all, have really reached that 10-minute mark, unless it's like your first or second playthrough, and you want to explore all the level and everything, or you're just like messing around and just trying to do whatever and waste that 10 minutes, but still feel that, because it's like, oh, I can beat this level in like, my first playthrough of Green Hill, beat it in like maybe 3 minutes, Act 1. That's the first playthrough, duh. But then with my current skills of learning the game, like constantly after playing the game like thousands and thousands of times, it feels like I can beat that level in under 30 seconds. I can beat all of Green Hill in just a little over a minute now. Marble Zone isn't really that much of a problem to me because I know shortcuts and stuff like that, which the game encourages you to look for. I think that's what people are talking about when they say speed is a reward. The game encourages you to go faster. Sure, in other games, it's like, yeah, you can go faster, that's just learning the game, but in Sonic's case, learning the game and trying to go faster and improving your skills even faster is encouraged. It wants you to go fast. As again, opposed to other games that don't really encourage you to do it, Sonic says, go fast and go as fast as possible, learn the game, and go even faster. And I hate if I'm repeating myself over and over again, but that's how I feel about the series. I think that's what people mean by speed as a reward. And in games like sorry to interrupt my own point, to interrupt myself, that's how I still think Unleashed in games like Heroes and SA1, SA2, they still feel like they still feel like they encourage speed as a reward, because they still go by that philosophy of go faster. And that's what I find so appealing about the series. Well, not everything again, but one thing that I find so appealing about the series. And then I just realized that I forgot to talk about Shadow the Hedgehog, but it's like, yeah, that game, just glancing over that's bad. That game is bad, the story is bad, characters are bad, like, the gameplay is bad, the whole, like, level design is bad, the objectives are atrocious, like, Shadow is probably my least favorite Sonic game. In fact, I'm pretty sure it actually is my least favorite Sonic game, even more than 06, yeah. Because there's like nothing there in the game. The game is so bland and boring. There's nothing there. I hate it. There's no reason for me to ever play Shadow the Hedgehog. In fact, it's like the only Sonic game I haven't finished because it's so... No, I just can't. I can't play that game for more than like 10, 15 minutes before I'm just like, I can't handle this. I'm turning the game off. But then we move on to games like 06, where honestly, that game's been beaten to death so many times that giving you guys an explanation here would just be redundant. If you want an example of why Sonic 06's go bad, just go watch like one of those 3-hour reviews that like Clement did like years back. That just describes everything. I know everyone's pointed that out and that review out, but like that's really how it is. If you really want to know why 06 is so bad, just watch that review or watch a long play of it or something. There's no reason to explain it here. It should be obvious at this point. The game is over 10 years old and people are still ranting about it to this day because of how bad it is. But moving on to games like Secret Rings, kind of just glance over those. It's like, Secret Rings is kind of blah. I don't think it's completely atrocious. I think it's pretty bad, but it's not 06 or Shadow levels. But it's still pretty bad. I'm not one to replay Secret Rings. It's still a pretty bad game, but I think the hate for it is somewhat overbloated. Like, I can see where people are coming from, but for somebody to say it's the worst Sonic game, it's like, yeah, the controls are, again, atrocious. They're vomit-inducing how bad they are, but 06 and Shadow are just boring, dead, sort of, they're just plain bad, where at least Secret Rings has, like, fun character moments and a semi-entertaining story. Then you got games like Black Knight, which honestly, in my opinion, Black Knight is one of, if not the most underrated Sonic game of all time. I just think the hate for that is way overbloated for that game. The characters were fantastic. I loved the story, even though it was a little short. I still really liked it. And, you know, it sort of felt like the end of an era for the Sonic series. I'll get more into that in a minute. But absolutely just love Black Knight for what it, the time it came out, and especially relating to now, which I'll get into that in a minute, again. It's Black Knight. I like the controls. I like the sword wasn't necessary, but, you know, it's something fresh. It's unique. Again, getting to that Sonic charm. It is fresh and unique and crazy and wild. Even though it's not the greatest Sonic game out there, I still think it is a good game. Not a great game, not a bad game, not mediocre. I think it is actually a good game. Nothing less, nothing more. And then we move on to games like, before we move on to the modern era as we know it, even though I talked about colors a bit, talking about the handheld games, yeah, those still feel like Sonic. Those still feel kind of, you know, fun, interesting, unique. Games like Advance to Advance 3, those were fun. Those were fresh and unique and an interesting take on the classic series. They were fun in their own right, for their own reasons, but they were still fun. There's not really much I can say about it. I like the whole multiple playable character things like Knuckles, Tails, now Amy's here, and Cream and all that. That's still really fun. And then, again, multiple playable characters is always something I liked about the Sonic series. I'm kind of upset that we don't really get to play as anybody anymore. I like multiple playable characters. If Sonic 3K can do it back in 1994, there is no excuse for why they don't just do the exact same thing they did there and just make characters the same as Sonic, just with slight differences and a unique ability or two to separate them from Sonic and make the playthrough unique or story unique or whatever you want to do. It's simple. It should be able to be done today. That's all I can say about that. And for characters like Big, Gamma, Amy, I absolutely love Sonic gameplay in SA1. I love Tails' gameplay. I actually love Knuckles' gameplay as well. I think Knuckles isn't as bad in Adventure 1 as he is in Adventure 2. And then, Amy, it's her gameplay style is meh. I don't really mind it. I don't hate it. I'm not loving it at all either, but I don't hate it. It's just kind of there. And then Gamma's gameplay, I actually really like Gamma's gameplay. I'm sure a lot of people are just gonna say you just like Gamma because of his death scene, and yeah, it's memorable, but it's like I actually liked Gamma's gameplay. I like the whole shooting mechanic, and again, it rewarded you for speed, because if you kept moving at a fast pace or a brisk pace, Gamma would switch into his moat change, where he gained wheels and could go even faster. So again, rewarding you for going faster, plus there's a time limit, so you're meant to rack up points, and again, it's got that Sonic charm of trying to go as fast as possible, stuff like that. And Tails' gameplay, it's a race, so kind of obvious where the whole speed is encouraged thing is lied, and even or is set, I should say. It's probably the better word. But even Amy's gameplay, sure, she's slow, and that's not really a good thing for a Sonic game, but like, you're still encouraged to go fast, because you have a robot chasing you at all times that yeah, you're gonna want to escape from, so you're gonna want to go as fast as possible. So again, encouraging that. And with Knuckles gameplay, it's still good, because you're required by, again, later objectives in the game to hunt them all down within like a minute or so. I think is actually his first mission in the game. And again, encouraging you to go faster, to learn Master Emerald places, their placements, and get them faster on your next playthrough, stuff like that. And they're always in set locations, so it's always like, you find out where the first one is, okay, you can instantly know where the other two are. And again, encouraging speed. With Big's gameplay, why do people care about Big the Cat? I know now he's a meme, but in terms of the hate for the character and the gameplay style, like, yeah, it doesn't fit a Sonic game at all, and I'd rather they never put in a Sonic game again, because it was like just off-putting and weird. But it's not bad. It is not bad. The whole not being able to catch Froggy thing, literally you just need to hold down on the analog stick and you instantly catch the frog. And most of Big's levels can be finished in under a minute, and possibly sometimes even less than 30 seconds. And if you want to go a little crazy, maybe you could even get it done even quicker. Like with his first stage, maybe get it done in like under 30 seconds. Maybe get it done in like 20 seconds. But even then, his story is like half an hour long, probably even less if you skip the cutscenes. What's people's problem with it? I don't understand. It's fine. A little baffling why he has a most amount of upgrades. I mean, come on, but I don't get the hate for Big in SA1, honestly. I'm perfectly fine just playing through Big just so I can get the last story. And I know it kind of feels like a negative point against the game, which it is, to have Big as like part of the game, but I don't really care. And then with SA2, I think Knuckles is just a worse version of his gameplay style from SA1. Again, just with the butchered radar. I'm sure you've heard that everywhere if you're watching this video and you're a Sonic fan. Knuckles raps are legendary, though. I love those. I love those to death. But, and then Tails and Knuckles, Tails and Eggman's gameplay, I really like as well. I really like, their gameplay style. It reminds me of Gamma. However, the level design just ruins it. I really like Tails and Eggman. In terms of their gameplay, I like the whole racking up points, and again, encouraging you to go as fast as possible. The whole, like, what is it? Like, target practice thing, I guess you could call it. Your whole aiming reticule, trying to rack up as many points as possible, and then try to go through it faster to get that A rank. Again, A ranks and ranking, major factor in encouraging people to go faster. Gotta go faster. I just prefer SA1 over SA2. That's just my opinion, though. I just prefer Sonic gameplay and level design in SA1 as opposed to SA2. It's just me. And then again, handheld games. Finally getting back to that after I go on a massive Sonic Adventure tangent. Sonic Rush. Good. Actually, my favorite handheld Sonic game is the first Sonic Rush. Again, I sort of love it for the same reasons I love Unleashed. It's like just sort of that adrenaline pumping, fast paced, like trick based, speed focused gameplay. Again, same reasons I like Unleashed. Plus, it has Blaze the Cat, one of my favorite Sonic characters, and I'm missing the fact that Sega barely uses her because she's like Sonic, but she can hover. Slightly slower, but it's the point where you can't really even notice. You gotta really paying attention to really notice it. And she got fire powers, so she's instantly better than Sonic in every way. Yeah, can we please have Blaze the Cat back in a Sonic game? Not like Sonic Dash or Sonic Forces Speed Battle, but like in a main series Sonic game as a playable character, please. I want Blaze back. I want Shadow. I want characters back. I want, other than just like classic Sonic. Oh, we'll get to that. But I just don't. I want other characters like back. Not just your OC either. I want established characters back. I want Tails. I want Knuckles. I want Shadow. I don't want like everybody. That'd just be insane. But I want Sonic, Tails, Knuckles. Maybe replace Tails and Knuckles with like Shadow. Maybe Blaze, Silver, whatever. Just give us multiple characters again, Sega. Just come on. I know you're probably not ever going to watch this video, but like, come on. We need multiple playable characters back, and not in a way that they're terrible or off-putting or just completely they don't mesh. But moving right along, we got Sonic Rush Adventure. Actually, one of the few Sonic games, main series Sonic games, that I haven't played. I just had never really gotten around to playing Sonic Rush Adventure. From what I've seen, it's just more the same as Sonic Rush, so I'm assuming it's another good game. Then we got Sonic Colors DS. Just Sonic Colors on the Wii. With Sonic Colors on the Wii, I described. It's good. It's Unleashed, but with color powers, and it's still a good game. It's a good game. I'd put it on the same level as probably around like Black Knight, to be honest. Maybe better than Black Knight, but I think it's good. It's an above average good Sonic game. And then the DS version, pretty much the same thing. It's a good above average version of Sonic Rush following Sonic Colors. That's it. And then Sonic Generations. Mwah! It's a masterpiece. Love Generations. I don't want to be redundant by saying the reasons that I love Generations. Pretty much the same reason everyone else loves it. Fantastic controls, fantastic level design, fantastic like music remixes, all that. On the topic of music, I kind of don't want to go on another tangent. That almost makes me forget what I was originally talking about before the tangent. But love Sonic level music. Got that rockin' like rock and roll. But yeah, your pop, your techno, your jazz. I love Sonic music. That's all I can say about it. It's just one of those other like classic video game soundtrack type deals, like with Koji Kondo and the Mario series. You got your Sonic 1 and Green Hill Zone. It's like iconic. You instantly think of Sonic. You think of like melodies like Green Hill. You got like Chemical Plant. You instantly think of like Sky Sanctuary. You instantly think of like Crush 40. All their like people say butt rock. I don't care. They're amazing. You think of those Knuckles raps when you think of Knuckles and SA2, because they're just beautiful works of art for probably all the wrong reasons, but for all the right reasons at the same time. It's a great soundtrack for all the games. In fact, the only Sonic game where I don't really like its soundtrack is Shadow the Hedgehog, and even then, you know, I still like Never Turn Back and All Hail Shadow and I Am All of Me, even though Sonic 25th anniversary party, it was like I love you instead of I am all of me. I don't understand why that happened, but that's the sound of 25 years of Sonic. But yeah, that pretty much sums up everything up to Generations. Love it, great. I don't want to be redundant. Love it, love the game. It's fantastic, great. I don't like how they made Classic Sonic a separate character. Don't like that. It wasn't bad when Generations was new, it just seemed fun, but later down the line, in probably a couple minutes, you'll know what I'm talking about. Again, this is unscripted, all this coming like right out of my head. This is all improv. But, yeah. And then you got games like Sonic 4, which, not bad. Again, with Sonic 4 Episode 1 and 2 both put together even as one game, I'd say as good as Black Knight. Maybe just, yeah, I'd say around the same level. There's not really much I can say. It's like, it's not a travesty. It's not a portrayal against Sonic. Betrayal. I almost said, did I say like portrayal? I mean, it's not a complete portrayal of Sonic. Either way, can you tell this isn't scripted? Sonic 4 is okay. Soundtrack isn't the greatest, but I still remember Splash Hill Zone. That's gotta count for something. The game's fun. It's fine. Even both games put together, it's fun. It's fine. A little episode metal thing. It's practically nothing, but it's there. It's not bad. It's good. It's like a little side thing that's not really a spin-off, but it's more just a side. It's like a side dish before Colors came out, was pretty much what it was. And then Sonic Lost World, people like to rant on about how that game is terrible. It's perfectly fine. It's not really the greatest, like, Sonic game, but even then, you can go fast. You can have fun. The 3DS version is pretty bad, but the Wii U version is, it's good. It's better than Black Knight, maybe around the same level. Like, I put Sonic 4, Black Knight, and Lost World equal. Like, pretty much equal in quality. I think they're all good games. Parkour system was interesting. Kind of upset that they did shit, but either way, it was fine. It was a good game for a little side experiment. Not exactly the greatest, considering you had Colors, and after that was Sonic 4, and it used the whole Green Hill, trying to get you to think of that. And then Generations does the same thing, but it's 20th anniversary game, that's understandable. And then Lost World does, and it's like, huh. I'm being very subtle here. Keep this note in mind. But then Sonic Boom. Whatever. I don't care. It's a spin-off game. Sure, there was a lot of hype surrounding it, but it's a spin-off game made by a separate team. Anyone that thinks Rise of Lyric is Shattered Crystal or worse than 06, no, they're nowhere near as bad. Like, story wasn't as bad. The gameplay, yeah, it's not Sonic and it's not really good, but it's not completely broken like some of 06's gameplay was, or at least a solid chunk, I'd say even half or more of it. But even then, Sonic Boom isn't that bad. That's really all I need to say. It's meh. I don't really like to think about it, not because of how bad it is, because like I just don't care. It doesn't matter. And then, whatever. We got the Sonic mobile games in the meantime. Whatever. They're mobile games. I'm skipping over those. Sorry if Sonic Dash and Sonic Dash 2 and Sonic Runners are your favorite Sonic games of all time, but yeah, I'm skipping over them. So, at this point, leading up to the 25th anniversary, I'm skipping talking about the 25th anniversary party because that was a complete disaster. Oh, wow, it was a disaster. It was fun. A lot of meme potential, so I respect that. At least got a lot of Sonic memes out of there. That's the sound of 25 years of Sonic. But at that, while I was watching the live stream, I wasn't in. Was it in Austin, Texas? Either way, I was watching the live stream, and I was just thinking, yeah, this is fun, but you know they gotta have something planned. You know that they're planning a new Sonic game announcement. And as the whole like, as they were like, oh, we have an announcement here, and then the trailer went silent because the audio was terrible, and then I was screaming at the computer saying, no, Aaron Weber, turn the audio back on right now, you're about to announce something. But then the trailer came back on, and everything was fine. After I saw that whole 25 years ago, a hedgehog changed the world, I'm just thinking, blah, 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 get to the game. Then when it said, working in association with Christian Whitehead, thought it was going to be a compilation of all the classic games, just maybe put on one disc and, you know, touch them up with Christian Whitehead's retro engine, which honestly I would have been fine with for the 25th anniversary because Christian Whitehead is amazing as a Sonic game developer. But then what's announced? Sonic Mania. Not going to beat around the bush. My second favorite, if not my favorite Sonic game of all time. Tied with Sonic 2, or possibly just below it, because Sonic 2 has that sort of nostalgia factor that never really wears off. But, get Sonic Mania. Beautiful. I did an entire playthrough of it. I did a knuckle stream of it, so if you want to see why I love that game so much, just watch my playthroughs of that. And my live stream, whatever. My 2 live streams, because my internet was terrible. But, regardless. Mania was great. Although I kind of didn't like the nostalgia either. I didn't really like that, but the game itself, fantastic. Fantastic game. It's great. Then they announced a little something else. I thought, ooh, we're getting a modern Sonic game too. I'm pretty sure those of you have watched my, the second part of my Knuckles stream of Mania, the archive that's left on my channel, you know where this is going. Bring that little, piece of information I told you to remember. Start bringing that up right now. Yeah. So, this whole dark, sort of dreary looking Sonic game, it's like, ooh, what's this? Are they finally moving out of the safe position they were in with Colors and Lost Worlds and Generations? Ooh, we might get something super ambitious again, like what we did with Unleashed, which Colors and Generations, Sonic 4, stuff like that during the meantime. Yeah, they were great games, good to great games, but, you know, I kind of wanted something more experimental, and not in the Lost World sense where the game is like a just mess of pretty much anything you throw in a pot, but just sort of experimental in a way where you want to be a little more ambitious, a little more risky with Sonic without being just completely stupid with what you plan to do, like with Lost World and the Snowball. I don't understand how Lost World came to be the game it is today, but still a good game though. Just, I don't know what was going on through Sonic Team's head at the time, but the game was originally revealed to be called Sonic Forces, and I don't want to go on another half-hour long rant. This video is already over an hour long, and I just don't want you guys to sit through me rambling for any longer than you have to, but I'm just gonna say, if you want my thoughts on Sonic Forces Cliff Notes version, I'm gonna speak of here. Watch my live stream and my rant about it. Sure, it's half an hour long, but if you're at this point, I congratulate you. I wouldn't stick around through this whole thing, but thank you for still being here, if you're here. Sonic Forces, didn't like the game. I think it's worse than Shadow the Hedgehog. It's just so bland. Well, not worse than Shadow the Hedgehog. I said worse than 06. Because it's just bland. It's dead. It's one of my least favorite Sonic games. There's nothing to it. The nostalgia pandering has gotten ridiculous up to this point. And I don't want to repeat what everyone's already said, but I've said that if Sonic continues down this whole nostalgia road path that he's like been going on, he's going to be dead. Like, if the next few games are like this, it's going to be dead. And some people are already losing faith, and some people are already done with the franchise. The game, I hate to be rushing through this, but I just don't want this to take forever. Again, more detailed version in the video. Shameless plug, I guess. But, I don't know. I hate the whole overuse of nostalgia and classic Sonic. You know what? The whole Sonic Forces situation shows me that Sonic Team doesn't really... It can't make Sonic games anymore. The Sonic Team, as we know it now, cannot make Sonic games anymore. There needs to be new people thrown in there so we can get something as good as Mania, but for modern Sonic. And Sonic Forces, I've said this in the stream, but I'd rather play 06 than Forces, because at least 06 has that quality of, it's so bad it's good. Forces doesn't have that. It just doesn't. It's dead. It's not as bad as Shadow. Shadow I just consider atrocious. I can't even play that game for more than 15 minutes. I at least finished Forces. I at least finished that game. But I don't know. Again, I hate to plug another YouTuber, but if you want an almost exact portrayal of my thoughts on Forces, watch Radical Soda's video on Forces. It's over an hour long. Like this video here, so if you like long videos like this, we'll go watch that. That's a million times more entertaining than what you could probably find here. But it just describes my thoughts perfectly. Almost perfectly. I don't know. I want Sonic to be fresh and unique like it used to be. I just want it to be fun. Sonic Forces is fun, but in a sort of artificial way. There's no meat to it. There's no anything that makes me want to go back to it. At least with the worst Sonic games like 06, it's like, I have a reason to go back to it because it's so bad. It's funny to see how you can mess it up and glitch it and just laugh at how bad it is with the story and the gameplay and literally everything about it besides the music. Of course, music's still great in that game, like most Sonic games except for Forces and Shadow, but Forces I just found even like I don't like the Forces soundtrack. I like Sunset Heights a little bit. I think Infinite's theme is okay, but again, it's just okay. Again, not much. And Classic Sonic, broken, wrong. I don't want Classic Sonic to be in another modern game ever again. Ever again. If you're gonna do anything in Classic Sonic, release a Mania game every like 5 years, because I'm sick of seeing Classic Sonic in Sonic games. Completely. I want it to be gone for like 5 years to like even a decade. At most a decade. I don't want to see Classic Sonic for a long time because I'm sick of seeing anything to do with previous games. I want something fresh and new. I am tired of the nostalgia pandering and the Classic Sonic. I'm just tired of it. If the series keeps doing this, I'm just gonna get fed up. I'm going to leave if it keeps like doing this. And honestly, again, I didn't experience the series in the same order that most people that have been with the series for a long time have. I didn't go from Adventure to Adventure 2 to Heroes and then start dipping down with Shadow and 06 and Secret Rings, and I didn't experience those in the same order as most people. I grew up in a time when like 06 was like brand new, but I was so young, I didn't even know what was going on. I barely knew what the internet was. But Forces, it's just, I'm starting to understand how fans felt after games like Shadow. It is a betrayal. It doesn't feel like Sonic, even though it shows Sonic characters doing Sonic related thing. It's not Sonic. It is not. It doesn't have charm. It is unoriginal. Any of the closely like close to original things they do could either be pulled out of something else, or you could instantly say, like the Metropolis level, you could literally just go to that thing and say -1 loop-de-loop, or maybe the rings. You could say, oh, that's like, this looks like Mirror's Edge. The moment I hear people saying, and even myself saying this, when I said this in my head and heard other people saying this as well, and I went, Metropolitan Highway looks like Mirror's Edge, I instantly knew I had lost all faith in this game. Because with other Sonic games, again, going back to the first example, Green Hill, that's not a grass world, that's not your World 1-1, that is Green Hill Zone. As much as it's overused now, when I go back to the original game, I love it just as much as I did before, when I first played the game, because it's the original Green Hill. It hasn't been tainted at that point, it hasn't been ruined at that point, and I can appreciate it for what it was. And at least, like, even now, it's not even being changed slightly to be different, like, say, Advance 3, quick throwback level called Green Hill, but mix it up a bit with, like, all these, like, wooden structures and poles and everything, grind rails, call it Sunset Hill, give it a complicated background and a sort of blocky but also rounded aesthetic, and have the boss be like a giant spinning ball, not the spinning, like, ball and chain, that have it be like Eggman in a literal spinning ball around it, like, arena. That's still, it's unique, even when they're using old themes, but now they can't even do something like that. It's just disappointing. I'm tired of, I don't want to say I'm tired of the Sonic series, but I'm going to be if this keeps happening. I'm going to be if this keeps happening, because now I feel like I'm noticing a type of trend where, thinking about it, the reason why I decided to make this surprisingly long video, I'm sorry, again, if you're still here, kudos, because I wouldn't be here if I were you. Please, I'm not that influential. I'm not like one of those famous YouTubers. I'm not like some Call Me Johnny or the Game Grumps. Go watch them if you've been here all this time. I am not as good. I am a talentless hack. I know nothing about being a professional YouTuber. Like, just like, but still, if you're here, kudos. Just when I look at games like Forces, I'm just, the reason why I thought to make this video is because, one is Sonic Colors. It was a revolution for the series, brand new start almost, kind of like how Sonic Adventure was. Now, what was Sonic Generations? People thought it was even better. I thought it was even better than Colors. That doesn't reflect my opinions on the games that I'm about to compare it to, but Sonic Generations is kind of like the Sonic Adventure 2. It's like an evolved, it's like how Sonic Adventure 2 was an evolved Sonic Colors that was received even better. Or, yeah, Sonic Adventure 2 was an evolved Sonic Adventure that was received even better. Sonic Generations is an evolved Sonic Colors that again was received even better and refined. What was the next game? Lost World. Kind of like Heroes in the sense where it sort of random, it seemed to people. Again, that doesn't reflect my opinions, but I'm thinking more in a general sense, what the popular opinion would say. Sonic Lost World is more like Sonic Heroes in the fact where it's more wacky, it's more different with the whole Sonic Lost World has the parkour tubular level design. Sonic Forces, Sonic Heroes has the 3-character gameplay where you swap between them. You know, it's something weird and different and unique. Wasn't received perfectly well, but some people liked it, some people didn't. Pretty sure most of you know where I'm going with this, but if you don't, keep listening. Sonic Forces is a bland, dead husk of a Sonic game that feels like a betrayal to almost every Sonic game. Or at least a big majority of them. At the very least, half. And I'm almost positive it's more than that. But it's like the Shadow the Hedgehog of the series. Sure, we had Mania in the meantime, but I'm thinking more mainstream classic, or I'm taking mainstream Sonic Team games into account, not like Mania and stuff. That was made by a completely different set of people, a completely different group of people, a different developer, all of that. Sonic Team was basically just there monitoring the whole thing, making sure it went smoothly. But yeah, if you know where I'm going with this, which I'm pretty sure you all do at this point, I am scared that whatever Sonic Team has the next Sonic game be, not the racing game I'm talking about, the main series game, of course, just not counting the movie tie-in game, whatever that is, unless that's canon to the main series, the movie tie-in, which I highly doubt, because we all know there's going to be one with the movie coming out at the current time of this video's recording. I'm scared because with what I thought of, I'm scared the next Sonic game could be as bad as 06. Or be another parallel like the other parallels I just made between other Sonic games and other recent Sonic games. I'm scared that that's going to happen. I hope it doesn't. I really, really, really hope it doesn't, but now that I've thought of this, I'm so scared it will be. Or that Sonic will even become a dead franchise. I don't want that to happen, but unless they do something drastic, it's going to happen. I am so scared of this thought happening, and you may think it's unrealistic, but no. With everything, it's almost like everything's falling into place, like we're preparing for the perfect storm with forces and boom, and then we're gonna move on. I know I said boom isn't really that important, but again, I'm taking more of a general sense, making more of a general opinion following the popular gaming opinion again, as I said earlier. I'm so scared that's going to happen. I hope it doesn't. Something's telling me it's at least possible that could be an outcome, and I hope it doesn't happen. Now, as I close this video, I want you to think of the question I just asked, or what I just said, the statement I just made. I'm hoping at least somebody can take away something from this video. Again, if you're watching up to this point, again, kudos. I'm not that good. I don't know why you're still here. You could be watching anyone else, but I try to get my point out there as little as I probably can, but I love this series, and I don't want to see it die or hit another low, because if we hit another 06, I was saying that if the series becomes stagnant and more unoriginal and will die a slow, painful death, if we get another 06, this series will be dead. I'm just saying that, like, that is the reality of the situation. If we get another 06 after a game like Forces and the polarizing success/failure of Lost World, Sonic will be dead. If we hit another 06, I don't think the series is going to be able to recover. I'm pretty sure that is the definite truth. If that happens, that will happen if we get another 06 type of situation where the game is that bad. Sonic will not be able to recover. Not even the gaming critics, but even the fans of the series. Sonic will be crushed in that instance. If that happens, which I'm kind of afraid it will. I have no way of knowing this, but with the parallels, again, that I made between modern games and the beginning of 3D to the beginning of Dark Age to leading up to 06, I'm afraid that's going to happen. For me, it fits too well, and I hate to sound like some type of Sonic conspiracy theorist, but it's just something I thought of, and I felt like it made me reflect on Sonic up till now, and it just made me realize that I love this series, and I don't want to see that happen. Again, I'm sure I probably said I don't want that to happen like 5 times within the last like 4 minutes, but I don't. I love this series. I can't imagine the series going through another 06. That would be devastating. Because I know if there is another 06 type game, I'd probably back out of the series at that point. I know I said I don't want to, but again, my fears would be realized if we were to get another 06. I'd probably just stop following the series altogether and say it's a lost cause. I don't want to see that happen. Sonic Team needs to do something drastic to avoid that type of situation to make sure that that does not happen. But I'm afraid it still will. And I think we as Sonic fans, as little as this video probably helps, I just think, again, that we as Sonic fans need to bring this to Sonic Team's attention. We can't just make like one-off videos and expect Sonic Team to watch them or something. We need this information to be shared and widely known. Even though people didn't like Forces and that spread like wildfire, and I'm sure Sonic Team probably caught a little bit of notice, people need to directly tell Sonic Team what is happening and the risks that they are taking and the possibilities of the future of what could happen if they don't change something now and soon. We as fans need to make sure that this does not happen. We saved Sonic by complaining and yelling and screaming about 06. I think we need to do that again now, while the series is still able to be saved. That's my stance on it. So, before I end this video, I want to answer the question that this video is titled and what it's based off of. What do I think Sonic is? Sonic is a fast-roaming hedgehog, colorful cast of characters, with an imaginary world where it's like carefree with like the most free-flowing music imaginable. It's iconic. Sonic is more than just a game character. He is an icon. And sure, he's well known, rightfully so, but he needs to be treated like one again. He needs to be treated with more respect by the people that release these games. I'm not saying that Sonic the Hedgehog is some type of high-class art that needs to be studied by the highest, like, philosopher people out there. I know that's probably the complete wrong words to say in that sentence, but you understand what I mean, people watching this video. And Sonic, even between the whole modern classic Sonic thing, classic Sonic isn't Sonic, modern Sonic isn't Sonic. Sonic the Hedgehog, as a series, there's one Sonic. Just Sonic. There is no classic Sonic. There is no modern Sonic. There's just Sonic. There's just an imaginative world with creative levels and themes. There's just free-flowing, iconic, and crazy music. There's just enough memorable moments and set pieces that stand out against a crowd of other video game characters. It is just a free-flowing platformer that allows you to obtain speed by encouraging you to go fast. It is just Sonic the Hedgehog. I've been the Cryogenic Gamer. Good night, everybody.